Welcome, it's Mimi at Giggly Guppy, and today we're going to be reading chapter 14 of The Seed of the Soul by Gary Zukav. It's called Illusion, and it's in the final section of the book called Power. Here we go. Each interaction with each individual is part of the continual learning dynamic. When you interact with another, an illusion is part of this dynamic. This illusion allows each soul to perceive what it needs to understand in order to heal. It creates, like a living picture show, the situations that are necessary to bring into wholeness the aspect of each soul that require healing. The illusion is a learning vehicle. It is of the personality. You will leave the illusion behind when you die, when you return home. Yet a personality that lives in love and light, that sees through the eyes of its soul, metaphorically speaking, can see the illusion and simultaneously not be drawn into it. This is an authentically empowered personality. The illusion is exquisitely intimate to the needs of each soul. Always each situation serves each person involved. You cannot and will not encounter a circumstance or a single moment that does not serve directly and immediately the need of your soul to heal, to come into wholeness. The illusion for each soul is created by its intentions. Therefore, the illusion is alive at each moment with the most appropriate experiences that you can have in order for your soul to heal. The illusion is malleable. This does not mean that what is created jointly within the illusion does not have an independence of the individual souls that participated in its creation. It means that there is no perception that cannot be healed, just as there is no intention that cannot be changed or replaced with another. Understanding how the illusion comes into being, how it works, the dynamics behind it, and the role that it plays in the evolution of the soul is at the heart of spiritual psychology. Spiritual psychology allows the personality to detach itself from the illusion and therefore to see it from a knowledgeable perspective, to see it in action. Just as, for example, an intelligence with a knowledge of modern medicine would be able to live among the populations of Europe during the time of the bubonic plague and not be affected by it. A personality with knowledge of the illusion and how it works is able to live is able to live within it and not be affected by it. Bubonic plague is transmitted by fleas on rodents. This is known, but it was not known then. By keeping his or her environment clean, by avoiding all that attracts rodents, and by practicing personal hygiene, such a person could not only survive but also keep others safe as well. When we experience fear or anger or jealousy, we are in an illusion that is designed to bring to awareness those parts of the soul that require healing. These things do not actually exist. That is why pursuing them does not bring power. What exists when souls is love, and that is all that exists. By understanding this, the personality is able to remain aware within the illusion, to accept consciously the healing that it offers, and to help others heal as well. The power of awareness and knowledge is identical in both situations. The illusion holds power over you when you are not able to remember that you are a powerful spirit that has taken on the physical experience for the purpose of learning. It has power over you when you are compelled by the want and impulses and values of your personality. It holds power over you when you fear and hate and sorrow and fester in anger or strike out in rage. It has no power over you when you love, when compassion opens your heart to others, when your creativity flows unimpeded, joyously into the present moment. In other words, the illusion has no power over a personality that is fully aligned with its soul. The illusion is governed by impersonal energy dynamics. It is shaped initially by the law of karma. The configuration of each personality, the unconscious intentions with which it is born, is determined by the karma of its soul. These intentions shape that personality's illusion, its reality within the Earth School. until they are replaced by other intentions, unconscious or conscious. If the reactions of the personality create additional karma for the soul, and that karma cannot be balanced, and if that karma cannot be balanced within the lifetime of that personality, the karma contributes to the shaping of another personality, and the intentions of that personality creates its illusion, its reality within the earth school, and so on. Even after a personality becomes conscious and aware of its illusion and sets its intentions accordingly, the karmic obligations of its soul must still be met. Karma is karma. Energy is energy. The awakened personality understands this and therefore does not respond to the experiences and the events of its life with anger, fear, sorrow, or jealousy, which would create additional negative karma for its soul, but with compassion and with trust that the universe in each moment is attending to the needs of its soul. This draws to it other souls with the same frequency of consciousness. With compassion and with trust that the universe in each moment is attending to the needs of its soul. I love that. Each personality draws to itself personalities with consciousness of like frequency or like weakness. The frequency of anger attracts the frequency of anger. The frequency of greed attracts greed, and so on. This is the law of attraction. Negativity attracts negativity, just as love attracts love. Therefore, the world of an angry person is filled with angry people. The world of a greedy person is filled with greedy people, and a loving person lives in a world of loving people. The law of attraction creates a cocoon, so to speak, of like energy around each personality, so that as it seeks to heal its anger or its fear or its jealousy, the metamorphosis process into wholeness is intensified and accelerated, is brought to the center of the stage of awareness. The personality sees its anger or its fear not only within itself, but everywhere outside itself as well. If the personality chooses consciously to heal its anger or its fear, every circumstance, every encounter becomes irritating or fearful as the universe compassionately responds to its desire to become whole. As the anger or the fear within a personality builds, the world in which it lives increasingly reflects the anger or the fear that it must heal, so that eventually, ultimately, the personality will see that it is creating its own experiences and perceptions, that its righteous anger and justifiable fear originates within itself, and therefore can be replaced by other perceptions and experiences only through the force of its own being. Just as the frequency of anger evokes a like frequency in the consciousness of those around an angry personality, the frequency of love awakens also like responses. It is the intention that determines the effect. If what you offer to others is not sensitive, if it does not support and nourish, if it does not empower but disempowers them, it will be met with resistance at some level, and that resistance will be the counterpart of your energy that seeks to disempower or to control. Separation and distance are always the result of the pursuit of external power. Within this impersonal framework operates the dynamics of temptation and responsible choice. All right, so there is this page. It's titled Powerlessness and in parentheses Fear. Then there are 4 sections: behavior, emotion, negative karma, and temptation. I'm going to hold it up the best I can so you can see it. See, behavior, emotion, temptation, and finally authentic power at the bottom. So the behavior Selfishness, people, animals, earth, using others, business, sexual, emotional, lying, manipulation, violence, brutality, domination, impatience, withdrawal, judging, ridicule. They all go down to negative karma. Emotion. So the arrow goes from negative karma to emotion. Under emotion, it says anger, rage, vengefulness, hatred, jealousy, envy, loneliness, spite, sorrow, despair, grief, regret, greed, lust, arrogance, alienation, self-pity, lethargy, guilt, resentment, inferiority, superiority, which then goes down to temptation. You've got unconscious or irresponsible choice. And then over here, you've got responsible choice, which leads to authentic power. That's quite a chart. And the unconscious or irresponsible choice has an arrow that goes back up to behavior. Makes sense. All right. The human emotional system can be broken down into roughly two elements, fear and love. Love is of the soul, fear is of the personality. The illusion of each personality is generated by and sustained by the emotions that follow fear, such as anger, rage, vengeful. Oh, here it goes. I should have looked ahead. This is the explanation. The illusion of each personality is generated by and sustained by the emotions that follow fear, such as anger, rage, vengefulness, hatred, jealousy, or envy, loneliness, spite, sorrow, despair, grief, regret, greed, lust, arrogance, alienation, self-pity, lethargy, guilt, resentment, and feelings of inferiority and superiority. Emotions such as these lead to corresponding behaviors such as selfishness toward people and animals, and the earth and the kingdoms of the earth, and using others in many ways that humans use one another, commercially, sexually, emotionally, and lying, manipulation, violence, brutality, impatience, ridicule, and judgment. When the personality is unconscious, every emotion of fear or that follows fear produces a negative behavior, a behavior that creates negative karma for its soul. Each of the emotions that follow fear can cause any of the behaviors that are based upon fear. Jealousy, for example, can result in lying or in ridicule, which are forms of manipulation, or in violence. Greed can result in impatience, which is a form of selfishness or judging or using others. If you are unconscious of the part of yourself that is angry, for example, if you are unaware of yourself as a splintered personality, you will enact the anger of that part of yourself without thinking. You will strike out or withdraw or ridicule or in some way express your anger. Your anger will spill out of your private energy sphere and into the collective energy of those around you, creating negative karma. As you encounter the results of your own anger as they come back to you through the laws of karma and attraction, you or another of your soul's personalities eventually will learn to create differently, and so on for each of the negative emotions that follows fear. Behind fear is powerlessness. As you reach outward to fill the places within you that are empty of power, you learn one by one that those places cannot be filled in that way. Eventually, whether in this lifetime or after 1,000 lifetimes, you will turn toward authentic power. This is the unconscious way of learning. It is learning through the experiences that are created by the unconscious parts of the personality and through the experiences that are created by unconscious responses to those experiences. If a personality is aware of its splintered state, if it is aware not only of the aspect of itself that is angry and demands vengeance, for example, but also of the aspect of itself that is compassionate and understanding, it benefits from the dynamic of temptation. It is able to preview the consequences of identifying with the frequency of energy that is anger that is running through its system, to look them over in advance of living them and to decide whether they are worth expressing the anger that it feels. It is able to foresee, through its decision to foresee, how expressing the current of anger in that moment will affect itself and the people around it, and also the effects of expressing understanding and compassion. The unconscious personality is not aware in the moment of its anger or its rage that there are aspects of itself that would prefer to respond with compassion and understanding, but it would recognize them if it could see clearly in that moment. What of the parts of itself that suffer the loneliness and alienation that result from expressing anger, the parts that long for warmth and companionship, for relationship of a depth and quality that are not possible to those who live in anger or fear or jealousy? If the personality that is tempted decides to align itself with love, with clarity, understanding, and compassion, it gains power. The impulse towards anger or resentment or vengeance loses power over it, and in this way, step by step, conscious decision by conscious decision, it becomes truly powerful. If it decides to remain unconscious to avoid responsibility for its actions, it allows negative currents of energy to form its words and shape its actions. This results in negative behavior, and this results in negative karma. What does this mean in terms of the illusion? Negative behavior produces within others and within oneself negative emotions, and therefore more opportunities to gain power through responsible choice or to create negative karma. Negative karma means that the personality that chooses negative behavior will experience that same negative behavior from another personality and again be given the opportunity to decide to release or continue that mode of learning. This is the illusion. It is an illusion because you and the other souls that are involved have agreed in compassion and wisdom to participate in the learning dynamics of the Earth School in order to heal. It is illusion because within non-physical reality, neither space nor time nor anger nor jealousy nor fear exist. It is an illusion because when you return home, it will cease to be. Therefore, how are you to judge a soul that is involved in this learning process? What step or steps do you abstract and say what is wrong? Oh, sorry. What step or steps do you abstract and say this is wrong, this is worthy, here she has succeeded, and here he has not? You cannot judge the learnings of a soul on the basis of how that learning takes place without creating negative karma. In other words, a soul is capable of being examined in process. Just as you can ask yourself, where does my anger come from, and realize that it springs from a multitude of dynamics, some of which we set in motion centuries long ago or longer, and that are now only coming to completion, that it is a current of energy within you that you are seeking to release in order to heal your soul and balance your karmic energy. You cannot try another as if you were a judge in a court or a single angry experience. So, not for nothing, but that sentence was that long. It's a really long sentence. Rather, you would have to see clearly, and there is a process unfolding, and add to that factor of karma. It can only You can only judge that the soul is involved by its own will in a process of healing and that it is evolving, as are you, and as is the rest of the universe. This is non-judgmental justice. It is justice that does not judge the process of the soul's evolution except that it recognizes with love that the soul is reaching for love. It is not the way of the universe to look through the eyes of right and wrong and failure or success. How do you know what success is? Can you see in fullness the causes and effects of your being and of your acts and of your words? Therefore, how do you know what success is, and how can you possibly imagine what failure is? What is failure but a cause and effect? What we call failure is simply a cause and its effect, simply the process of cause and effect in action. It is wise to imagine the dynamics that we think of as failure and success as not truly existing because they do not from the position of truth, only from the position of judgment. That's amazing. How can you say what within the illusion is worthy and what is not? Unworthiness, in quotes, is the judgment of not being perfected. But look around you. Do you see perfection completed by each human being, except that they are, in their own process, perfect and worthy? Is it the process? It is the process that is worthy and perfect at all times. And in that, you complete the task fully. How is it possible to know what to pursue within the illusion and what not to pursue? Ask yourself, what is the difference between your essential needs and your adopted needs, or perhaps another term might be artificial needs? What are your genuine needs, and what are the needs that you have created for other reasons, to control or to maneuver others or to gain attention? It's a huge question. Distinguish these in your mind. Know yourself deeply and clearly enough to recognize what is a legitimate need of you as a human being and of you as that part of yourself that has created needs for certain other reasons, such as to gain external notice or prestige or to become a distinguishable individual. Learn to identify these and then choose which you wish to live with. Yeah, see, this is the stuff that I mentioned in an earlier video. We're starting to get into it. This is the stuff that changed the way I look at everything. Everything. For example, is your irritation at the neighbor's noise a result of a genuine need that is going unmet or a created need? Does your annoyance with the sounds that the garage truck no. Does your annoyance with the sounds that the garbage truck makes or your desire to have the clerk at the grocery store treat you politely reflect an essential need or an artificial one? Learn to distinguish your real needs, what you truly need as a human being and a soul, from the needs that you have adopted for reasons that are based on external power and do not emerge from the needs of your soul. Once you get a clear sense of that, you can begin to separate yourself from your artificial self. And then you are in a position to choose clearly how you wish to respond and to hold yourself accountable when you allow your artificial needs to take over. Authentic needs belong to the soul. You need, for example, to love and to be loved. We need that. We need that. You need to express your creativity, whether that is in raising a family or leading a country. You need to cultivate your spirit, to work consciously at aligning your personality with your soul. You need to be counseled with the impersonal wisdom of your non-physical teachers and the guidance of your non-physical guides. These are some of your authentic needs. Non-authentic needs belong to the personality. They are what you adopt in your physical life in order to maneuver the space you claim and walk in upon the earth. Artificial needs are the needs from which negative karma is incurred. As you reach to fulfill these needs without letting them go and bending and flowing, as you determine to have them satisfied or to use them, you can gain great negative karma. Non-authentic need is a barrier. Neither nations nor individuals need as much as they have. They are artificial barriers, and the purpose behind their formation is the accumulation of external power. The secondary gain, so to speak, behind the creation of artificial needs is artificial power. Look clearly, and you will see it everywhere, in marriages, in international relations, in every conflict. It is not possible for you to experience the complete emergence of your soul when you are clouded over by artificial needs. When that happens, all you can see are artificial needs and you see them as being ever so important, ever so significant, but are they really? As you look at your not as authentic needs, can you see how they drain energy from you? So long as your priorities come from your lesser self, you cannot touch your higher self in a direct way. Authentic needs are the needs that are always met by the universe. The universe is that which supplies you with your authentic needs. You are always being given opportunities to love and be loved, for example. Yet ask yourself how many times in your life you've squandered these opportunities. By learning to respond to your authentic needs and by allowing your artificial ones to drop aside as unnecessary defense mechanisms, you become more open and understanding and compassionate with others. There is a natural give and take in the course of every human life. Each human being has authentic and non-authentic needs, and that is where the natural grit for the flow between us comes from in the living environment. You begin to learn to give and take as you begin to work through an understanding of what your real needs are, and learn to compromise and give and transcend when it comes to the needs of those parts of yourself that are not genuine or do not enhance your development. If you see clearly through your own authentic needs, then you will see that what you are really feeling threatened by when you experience an artificial need is the loss of your power, and therefore, rather than being able to address it directly, you create an artificial need that does the speaking for you. Learn to address the real needs so that you do not have to burden yourself with behavioral patterns that are not true to your own nature, that cloud you, that give you some artificial persona that you have to live up to. Begin by truly watching your own needs in action, where they are, real and where they are not, and where they are not, expect to experience a negative emotion. Work on becoming one step detached from that feeling so that you are no longer blinded by it or unaware that you are feeling it. Become a step away so that you can let it begin to work its way through you without penetrating as deeply as it does in terms of creating action and negative thoughts and emotional withdrawals and all the other reactions it creates within you. Become one step detached from it, and every time that you are able to see it, you will become more and more and more detached. You will begin to be able to see the illusion in motion, and that is a part of authentic power. That was great. Chapter 15 is actually called Power. Yeah, see, now we're getting into the good the good stuff, the really, really good stuff. I love that. Authentic needs belong to the soul. You need, for example, to love and to be loved. That's that's everyone. Everyone. It's really important because because that if that guides my behavior and my interactions with everyone, in a reasonable way, um, then I think that adds to more positive interactions than if I'm not thinking in a loving way. Even if I'm upset, I can I can still be loving. So anyway, very good, very good. I like that a lot. So that was a good chapter. So we've got two more to go. I think they're going to be really good. I haven't read this book in a really long time, but I'm really glad to be reading it and sharing it with you as I rediscover it myself. And I look forward to seeing you very soon. Um, Probably tomorrow, because I'm trying to read all these in quick succession so that you can listen to them if you care to. And thanks for joining me. I'll see you again soon. Take care.